before the borders, before the maps, before the flags, before the world sliced Africa into 54 pieces and called them countries. There was something older, something deeper, something sacred. In the age before colonization, Africa was not a puzzle of artificial lines. It was a breathing tapestry, woven by kingdoms, shaped by empires, carried by clans, and guarded by the spirits of the land. Mountains had names whispered by thunder. Rivers bore titles given by the gods. And every piece of soil knew the footsteps of an ancient people. A world where every region wore a different identity, one crafted by its people, its culture, and its destiny. This is the story of what African countries were truly called before colonization. Let the winds of the Sahara guide you. Let the drums of the ancestors awaken you. Let the spirit of Africa rise before your eyes, because the names you know today are only shadows of the names that once were. To understand Africa before colonization, one must first understand this. Countries did not exist. Not in the way the world recognizes them today. Instead, there were empires, kingdoms, confederations, city-states, clan territories, nomadic nations, spiritual domains. Borders were shaped not by rulers in distant lands, but by rivers, mountains, deserts, and trade routes. People identified themselves not by Nigeria, Kenya, or Ghana, but by ancient nations like the Oyo, the Nubians, the Mandinka, the Zulu, the Hausa, the Berbers, the Swahili, the Amhara, the Oromo, and countless others. The names of Africa were living things, fluid, dynamic, evolving like the very heartbeat of the continent. What you know now as countries were once worlds of their own. Egypt before colonization, known as Kemet, the Black Land. Long before the world said Egypt, the people called their land Kemet, meaning the Black Land, named for the fertile dark soil along the Nile. Egyptians also called their country Tameri, the beloved land. Twy, the two lands. Kmt, written in sacred hieroglyphs. This land was not merely a country. It was a spiritual axis where gods walked among mortals. The Greeks later renamed it Aegyptos. The Arabs called it Missa. But its truest ancient name remains Kemet, the kingdom built by the ancestors of Africa. Sudan before colonization was Nubia, Kush, Meroe. Beyond Egypt, the Nile stretches into a land older than many remember. Sudan was not Sudan. It was Nubia, land of gold. Kush, empire of warriors. Meroe, the city of iron. Here ruled the Candaces, the queen mothers whose armies defeated Rome. Here rose black pharaohs who wore crowns of lions, Menet and copper. Sudan's ancient names carried the roar of empires. Ethiopia before colonization was Abyssinia and the land of Prester John. Ethiopia, older than most of the world's nations, was once known as Abyssinia, Habasha, the kingdom of Axum. In ancient tales, Ethiopia was the land where angels rested, where the Queen of Sheba rose in glory, and where the Ark of the Covenant found a new home. Colonization never fully took Ethiopia. Its ancient name echoes still. Libya before colonization was Tirhinu, Lebu, Temazga, before the world called it Libya. Its indigenous Amazi, Berber, people called the region Tirhinu, Tiemihu, Lebu land, Temazga, land of the Amazi nations. This land held desert kingdoms long forgotten, kingdoms that traded with Egypt before the pyramids were even complete. Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco was Numidia, Carthage, Mauritania. The Maghreb was once a stage of legendary kingdoms. Numidia, land of horsemen. Carthage, city of Hannibal. Mauritania, the kingdom of the Moors. Ifriqiya, name later applied to a wider region. These were lands where desert warriors rode like wind, and cities shone like jewels on the edge of the Sahara. In West Africa, the names you know today are young. The real names belong to empires that shook the world. Wagadu, the Ghana Empire. Before the modern country of Ghana existed, there was a mighty kingdom called Wagadu, the Empire of Ghana, the land of gold. The word Ghana originally meant warrior king, and referred not to a country, but to the title of an emperor. The empire extended far beyond modern Ghana, into Mali, Mauritania, and Senegal. The modern nation only adopted the name in 1957. To honor this ancient legacy, Nigeria, a land of many nations. The name Nigeria is barely over a century old. Before colonization, The region was a mosaic of civilizations: Yoruba lands, Oyo Empire, Ife Kingdom, Ijebu Kingdom, Benin region, the Benin Kingdom, Empire of Obas, Bronzes, and Mystics, Northern region, Hausa city-states, Kano, Katsina, Zoria, Kanem-Bornu Empire, one of Africa's longest-lasting kingdoms, Middle Belt, Tib, Nupe, Jukuin, Idoma, Igala, each with their own domains, Igbo region, Nrai Kingdom, land of priests, peace, and sacred traditions, Aro Confederacy, feared and respected traders. Nigeria, as a single name and country, did not exist. It was a cluster of powerful nations whose identities were older than time. Mali, Mande, the Mali Empire, the land of Sanjata. Before colonization, the region was known as the Manden Karufuba, Union of Mande States. The Mali Empire, the land of Sanjata Keita. This was the empire of Mansa Musa, the richest man who ever lived. A kingdom where gold flowed like river sand. Senegal and the Gambia, Tekru, Jollof, Saloum. Before colonization, these lands were known as Tekru, the Jollof Empire, Sine and Saloum kingdoms, the Mandinka states. These were the ancestral homelands of traders, scholars, fishermen, and the creators of the name Jollof, which today travels the world in culinary battles. Burkina Faso, Musi kingdoms. Long before Burkina Faso, the land was home to the Mossi kingdoms, including Yatenga, Ouagadougou, and Tenkadogo. These were warrior states that resisted conquest for centuries, fierce as the Sahel winds. Côte d'Ivoire, the Akan states, Kayou Coast, Kong Empire. Before colonization, this land carried many identities. Akan states, Bao, Ani, Agni. The Kong Empire, the Kru Coast. Each people guarded its own traditions, its own kings, its own stories. Sierra Leone and Liberia, Manding, KWA, Gola territories. The lands we now call Sierra Leone and Liberia were once home to the Mande states, the Vai Nation, the Gola territories, the Kru confederacies. Their cultures shaped the rhythms of West Africa long before colonial settlements appeared. Central Africa was a universe of its own. Kingdoms hidden beneath forest shadows, rich with iron, ivory, and ancient wisdom. DR Congo, Congo, Luba, Lunda. Before colonization gave it the name Congo, the region was defined by the Congo Kingdom, the Luba Empire, the Lunda Empire. These were powerful states whose influence spread across modern borders, into Angola, Zambia, and beyond. The Congo Kingdom even had its own diplomatic relations with Europe, as early as the 1500s. Angola, Ndongo, Matamba, Congo. Angola was not Angola. It was Ndongo, land of the Mbundu people. Matamba, the kingdom of Queen Zinga, part of the greater Congo world. Mazinga, the queen warrior who defied the Portuguese for decades, ruled these lands with strategy and fire. Cameroon, Bafut, Barman, Sao civilization. Before colonization, this region was defined by the Barman Kingdom, the Bafut Confederacy, the Sao civilization near Lake Chad. These were lands of artists, bronze casters, and warrior kings. Gabon, origin of the Fang and Mayin kingdoms. Gabon was home to Fang clans, Mayin states, Kota and Obamba territories. These people carried masks and spiritual traditions that speak to the world even today. Central African Republic in Chad, Bagirmai, Sao, Kanem-Bornu. Before colonization, Chad belonged partly to the Sao civilization and the Kanem-Bornu Empire, which stretched into Nigeria and Cameroon. Ka hosted various Ubangi and Banda states. In the east, Africa held some of the continent's oldest civilizations. Kenya, Swahili city-states, Maasai, Kamba, Kikuyu lands. Before colonization, the region was defined by Swahili city-states, Mombasa, Malindi, Lamu. Maasai territories, Kikuyu lands, Kamba kingdoms. Coastal Kenya was part of an Indian Ocean trading world that stretched to Arabia, India, and China. Tanzania, Zanzibar Sultanate, Swahili Coast, Great Lakes kingdoms. Before colonization, the coast was ruled by the Sultanate of Zanzibar, the interior by Nyamwezi, Hihi, Makand, and Chaga kingdoms. The north connected to Buganda and Karagwe. Uganda, Buganda, Bunyoro, Toro, Ankole. Uganda was not a country. It was a cluster of monarchies. Buganda Kingdom, Bunyoro Kitara, Toro Kingdom, Ankole Kingdom, each with kings, drums of power, and sacred symbols of authority. Rwanda and Burundi, the land of the Mwami. These nations grew from Rwanda Kingdom, Burundi Kingdom, both ruled by divine kings known as Mwami, believed to be chosen by heaven itself. Somalia, Punt, Ajuran, Adel, Jeladai. Before colonization, Somalia was the land of the Kingdom of Punt, older than 3,000 years, the Ajuran Sultanate, the Adel Sultanate, the Geledi Kingdom. This was a world of traders, sailors, and camel kingdoms. Zimbabwe, Great Zimbabwe, Mutapa Empire. Before colonization, Great Zimbabwe, the Stone City, the Mutapa Empire, the Rosby Kingdom. Great Zimbabwe was one of the most advanced cities in medieval Africa, with stone structures built without mortar, standing strong for centuries. South Africa, Zulu Kingdom, Xhosa Chiefdoms, Sotho Kingdoms. Before South Africa, there were the Zulu Kingdom, the Xhosa Chiefdoms, the Sotho-Tswana Kingdoms, the San Territories, the oldest people on earth. Botswana, the Batswana Chiefdoms. The region was once Batswana Chiefdoms, Kalanga States, San Ancestral Lands. Namibia, Hera, Ovahimba, San, Damara Territories. Long before Namibia, Hera States, Nama Peoples Kingdoms, San Hunter-Gatherer Territories, Damara Clans. Mozambique, Gaza Empire, Swahili Coast. Before colonization, the Gaza Empire. Bits of the Swahili trading world. Shona kingdoms influencing the north. Do you hear it? The wind speaks. The rivers remember. The mountains carry the echoes of nations long erased from maps. Africa's countries are young, but Africa's civilizations are ancient. Every name you know today was carved by colonizers less than 150 years ago. But the true names, the sacred names, are carved into the soul of the continent. We have begun the journey, but this is only part 1. Part 2 will reveal the pre-colonial names of all remaining African countries, the origins and meanings behind each ancient name, a deeper exploration of empires erased by history. Prepare yourself, because the ancestors are not finished speaking. If this journey moved your spirit, if it awakened something ancient within you, then let your voice be part of the legacy. Like the video, share it, and speak in the comments. I honor the names of my ancestors. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss any point where the forgotten names of Africa rise again. Until then, may the ancestors guide your path. May the spirit of Africa walk beside you. And may the winds of history whisper truth into your soul.